So without further ado, friends, let's bring in our guest tonight, Lauren Pritchard. Happy to see you here, Lauren.
Oh, I'm on. Cool. Hey, thank you for having me. I was on the YouTube channel. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You're a big supporter. Are you a big supporter of Mr. Casbolt? Would that be correct? Or
yeah, absolutely.
But what do you think about his claims that he's like the $6 million man and he's got lasers implanted in his arms and stuff like that? Like, you believe all that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Wait, let's 100%. Back up. All right. So listen, I gotta play a short piece for you, and I want your reaction to this. Okay. And look, in all fairness, if you believe that, I respect your beliefs. But
well, I don't
understand that belief, but I will respect your belief because he says some pretty crazy things. And all right, I'm going to cite fair use as I share this. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. Yeah.
The Oscar goes to James Casbolt.
Of course, this is highly edited, but you know.
This is James Casbolt's second Academy Award, having picked up tonight's Oscar for Best Editing. Mr. Casbolt has written and or directed 9 films, including The Terminator and The Abyss.
I'd love to say hello to the moon pack.
Yeah, he didn't always have the nicest things to say about women.
Here we go.
I agree with that.
What is your programming relating to that weapon system? What is your mission?
I'm about to go active again.
Oh, come on, you gotta admit this is kind of fun.
Oh yeah, no, these are fun.
There's a school of thought. School of thought. Four.
Oh no.
The two sides don't understand.
Yeah, come on, Lauren. Some of this stuff is wacky, isn't it? It's kind of wacky. Some of the stuff that he says, right?
Well, his testimony is very conflicting with reality.
Well, let's. There's a little bit more of this. Let's see.
Whatever, about what we're talking about. I say some people talk on Tuesday. I say some people don't talk on Tuesday.
So they want someone like me to come on and explain what I tend to explain what they do, the things they do.
I don't know what this is about.
Yeah, I don't know about that image.
These are domestic issues which can lead to divorce.
This is all going to be mainstream.
Yes. Some people
All right, I think that's enough. But some of his claims, he claimed that he's like the $6 million man and that he has all these implants. He has like ocular implants who can see for miles. It depends on when you catch him in what interview. And in that interview right after I think he got arrested or in legal trouble, he said that he had laser guns implanted in his forearms that could pop out and he could shoot lasers. Like, do you really believe he could shoot lasers out of his?
Well, I believe you're referring to they were like reattach. Well, I wasn't there. I didn't see it, but reattaching limbs for these soldiers and then putting in the lasers that happened down here in San Antonio, and I do believe that's a thing. I don't remember him ever saying that he had them, but I do believe in that exoskeleton that he has, and I do believe that there is something in the back of his head that would control, control him.
You know what's very interesting to me about super soldiers, and it wasn't me, it was CW Channer that I noticed, I know for sure, pointed this out. Most of them don't look like, very fit, but at least Casbolt looks somewhat. like more fit than most of them, but like he's in a
It's like
secret space program kind of thing and a super soldier.
Well, see, I like again, he's in a class all his own. It's a space military. It's Germanic. It's the ancient Nazi. It stems from Gaia, the goddess Gaia, like so the mother. So it's
Mother
not diplomatic.
Earth.
Yeah, so it's like the military of Mother Earth, like Archangel Michael and Mother Earth. And then, within that, I don't really know anybody that's in it. I actively work with this group. They do
With James Casbolt's group.
Yeah.
And they're always like superheroes. So he's like saving Earth, but nobody gets to see it or hear
There's
about
no
it.
media coverage, none. Because all the media in the
Imagine
airwaves.
that. He's like the $6 million man that could shoot lasers out of his arms, and he's in a secret space program and he's saving Earth, but the media isn't all over that story. That would be like the biggest story of the year, don't you think, Lauren? If this was real?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I guess it depends on like where you live. Certain areas are super passive with their news, and then certain areas are like super out there with their news. And I think they don't really want anything that extraordinary on the news because they kind of want to keep people dumbed down. But
what do you think of that? What do you think of what he did to his wife with the revenge porn? Because he got convicted of basically a revenge porn extortion scheme with his ex-wife, where he threatened to post pictures and did, I believe, post naked pictures of her in order to get $2 million. And didn't he do jail time for that? Last I heard, is he out of jail or is he still in jail?
Yeah,
he's out of jail now.
He's out. Yep.
Who was saving Earth while he was in jail for revenge porn extortion?
He was. I mean, there's a
what did he do? Teleport out of the jail cell like Mark Richards does?
Well, so I think that it's like this in Bases 24. He talks about he was with Miles Johnston and that woman out, and they were surveying an area, and he said these ships come in here. And anyways, in that video, he said it's where all the sea and the rocks were, that one, wearing the leather jacket. He talks about, he says, there are now 200,000 active soldiers that are, not diplomatic to any one area. It's diplomatic to Earth. And he says he calls the ships in telepathically because it's all telepathy. So he can command that military from down here just telepathically.
So that's another superpower in addition to his $6 million man laser guns, right?
Well, that's probably. Well, I believe in the cyborg skeleton.
Yeah, it gets further and further out there, right? But like, do you believe that he was still saving Earth while he was in jail? How was he doing that if he?
Because he can run telepathic operations. That military operates on the behalf of Mother Gaia, and I think he's got a close connection with Mother Gaia, like him as a spirit. These used to be people. They used to be Gaia was a person, Zeus was a person. Jupiter, Zeus. I mean, these were people. Actually, even Julius Caesar, they revered Julius Caesar as father, as Lord. And that wasn't even that long ago, but that's the last time that we saw these human embodiments where we weren't dumbed down. I mean, the public wasn't dumbed down. But yeah, back to the revenge porn thing. So
haven't you claimed that he was framed for that or something? Or that people were trying to get him in trouble needlessly because they just don't like him or something? Yeah, I don't understand that story.
Well, he says he doesn't want anyone to make excuses for his bad behavior. He doesn't want anyone to treat him like he was the victim, talk to him like he was the victim. And he doesn't want anyone to make excuses for his behavior. These things happened. Yes, they did. They hurt people. Yes, they did. How those people perceive these things is valid and needs to be treated as if it's a valid, as a trauma. So his side of the story, and I can relate, he did it to protect her because Haley Meyer, I mean, who knew her? She was a significant person, but did anyone know her? He had to put eyes and ears on her in order to protect her from, I believe, being killed or being stalked or whatever.
But who would want to kill her? Like, couldn't it have just been he was pissed off about the divorce and losing all that money because she was rich, right?
Well, her dad, he says her dad has always wanted to kill her.
Uh-huh.
Hank Meyer. There is a
Terry
God.
Joyce is asking, do you talk to him personally, or is this communication by mental telepathy? That's a good question, right?
Yeah, it's
And
telepathy.
I know, don't you guys disagree? What's your problem with Terry Joyce? Because I think she's awesome.
I don't know her that well.
Some things, right? Oh,
She
you
just
don't know her
pops up
too.
every now and then and just stirs the pot.
Yeah, and
It's all good.
This belief that you have that like James Caswell is like the second coming of Jesus, and something about pregnancy and aliens, and but I want to hear about it. Like, so tell me about these claims. Something about a baby. Somebody, there's rumors about everybody, and I haven't heard you say these things, but somebody told me that you are like pregnant with James Caswell's baby or something like that.
I never said that, so it's so funny, but it doesn't matter either
There's
way.
like thumbnails of a baby in some of your videos, and people are saying that you're saying that you had an alien baby or that you were impregnated by an alien. This is just what I heard.
Like,
I don't know. Well, I'm asking.
Well, people are so mean. It's like, why do people go there? Why are people so mean? This is such like an inhumane way of acting, even if. But
so you didn't say that you were pregnant with an alien or James Caswell's baby or something, right?
Well,
like
I got parthenogenesis, asexual reproduction. I did get pregnant AF July 18th, I noticed. 5 days later, I have a huge belly. 3 weeks later, I look like I'm 4 months pregnant. And
so
then
what happened to the baby?
Well, I thought I was miscarrying, but I didn't bleed nearly enough for it to even be a period. So.
And then what happened to the baby bump?
I had like a postpartum belly for a little while, but it went away within a month. My cycle, everything went back to normal, like right away.
I don't understand how a woman gets. So you weren't banging anybody. You just got pregnant spontaneously on your own. That's a dangerous woman that could do that. Because normally you got to be doing some bang bang to get knocked up.
I hadn't had sex in a year, but my previous relationship, is one of these components. Like I say, I'm trying to bring these pieces back together. He's one of them, and there's this whole satanic cult, like mind control over him. So, but throughout our relationship, it was like evolved around this baby. He's like having dreams with a baby. We're both having these dreams of this baby from like the French Revolution, and all these people are trying to kill us. Like, and he's not even like a spiritual dude. And then all his like demonic friends come out. Turns out later they're all like witches and AI robots, and they have a problem. So we're talking about this baby, right? And they're all like freaking out, and we're like, what the hell, man? So, I mean, fast forward to a year later, there has been like this baby has been like in the arena, like in our minds. And so when it happened, I was sort of like, yeah, I'm not surprised, actually. Like, and at least it's no drama. At least nobody tried to kill him. I mean, they were like gonna kill him if he impregnated me.
Who?
Like,
Who? Your boyfriend?
Yeah. It's like a satanic cult. Like these cults, they run on the division of certain bloodlines. So my family stems back to the Romanovs, but don't ask them about it because they're all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And his family stems...
I like that expression. I use that myself. Yeah.
And his family stems back to the Bolsheviks. So when the Bolsheviks and the Romanovs, like this, it's like this Germanic, it's the two brothers, it's the red and the blue. When they split in World War I, it's like this huge power vacuum opened. And so spiritually, I'm just here like living my life, but spiritually, at the end times, the concept is to come back together in like peace and love and harmony. And so that's what we were doing without even realizing it. And this whole cult, in their Nazis, these Nazis, these Bolsheviks, and these people are old as F. Like, some of these people are probably like 300 years old. So it's like,
No, so now we got 300-year-old people running around.
all right, never. Okay, that's too
Do
far.
they drink? Are those the adrenochrome drinkers?
Well,
those
they're like
people.
Well, they're like,
Well, I just want to see if we can humanize something here, right? Or let me ask you a question. Do you have any friends or family that own businesses?
yeah.
Okay. So, I did a little bit of research into this beer company, and I couldn't find anything that would indicate that they're Luciferian or satanic or, running pedophile
Well, they have to
rings.
tell you.
Well, they didn't.
Yeah,
And I
I'll tell
reached
you where
out
they
to
do,
them,
though.
and they denied any of these allegations. First of all, I spoke to a company spokesperson who denied any of the allegations that you have made, and then went on to tell me a little bit of background. And I want to see if we can humanize what
Can
took
you
place
say what
between
company it was?
this Austin Brewing Company.
Austin Beer Works?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're the only ones that would comment, and they're cocky. They're arrogant.
Well, but here I want to see if we can humanize some of this, because, you made a lot of very serious accusations against this company, and they deny all the accusations and further say that you have zero proof of any of your claims, and that your claims have been very damaging to them in one form or another.
Good.
Well, see that, but it's not good if you don't have the proof.
Well, my life is
wiser
my proof.
man. Have facts in hand before putting mouth in gear. Now, you may stand by the statements that you made about this company, but they deny it all. And I just want to see if you have any regrets or empathy, knowing that what you said created huge problems for that company. It created huge problems for that company, which is basically a family-owned craft brewery, small brewery in Austin. And it created huge problems for them. Yeah. Obviously, making statements like they're running a pedophile ring and they're Satanists might damage their business and their reputation.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Can I like try to put you in my shoes?
Yeah, I want to hear how you develop this belief.
If you came into a situation where these people were actively trying to destroy your family, and they were doing weird stuff behind the scenes. They were going out of their way. They were staging certain things. They were like virtually kidnapping people and putting them into rituals. Well, that was actually connected to Jester King, but it's all connected, this whole thing. Handlers.
So, what if somebody... Help me understand this. When they're not brewing beer, they're running satanic rituals and kidnapping people and children. Like, I don't understand the jump from their guys that go to work every day, and they got these, big. I used to not work for, but work in. I did a service for a small. It was so similar of a setup to them. They have the brew, and then they have the tap room where people can come and, So I just don't get how you get to these guys that are working hard, making beer every day, are running satanic cults and kidnapping people.
I should probably also add in all the stuff that I've done. Yeah, it was kind of personal, but most of it was militaristic. So it's like, it would seem as if I'm some like bitter chick, but it was actually, there's a military aspect here that's kind of using me as the ears and eyes to go in and do these things so that they can do what they need to do. So it's not.
So wait, I don't get it. So you're working for a military organization, helping out pedophiles and Satanists?
That's the space military that is James Casbolt commands.
Okay.
They deal with child trafficking crackdown, and there's a huge problem in this area because it's the Wild West. I mean, there's like far out, lots of land, private property. People just do whatever they want. There's a ton of non-human
article in the Daily Dot. The woman protests outside of Texas brewery, accuses it of being a satanic cult in a viral video.
Yep, fair. This was a fair article. They didn't lie. They didn't puff it up. It's exactly what it looked like.
You do realize that you're wearing a Motley Crue shirt to protest a satanic cult beer house.
Yeah,
right?
I did it on purpose because I knew people
I was
would.
gonna say, like, did you know Shout at the Devil and all
'cause
those songs?
it's like the whole it's like the whole psychology. Like when people don't like what you're doing or what you're saying, they're gonna attack like anything about you, your hair, your shoes, whatever. So I put a Motley Crue t-shirt on to give them something to attack, and then I didn't say anything about it for weeks, and then finally I put one statement out there, and it's like I did it to troll the trolls because you all say the same stuff. You don't like what you see, you don't like what I'm saying, so you attack the shirt. Are you retarded? Maybe.
I wasn't attacking the shirt. I was just commenting on it. I thought it was ironic. That's what I thought. I thought, does she know, like, Motley Crue sang Shout at the Devil and all these other songs about the devil and Satan, and she's protesting a satanic beer hall? And in the article, I don't understand this. You have to explain it to me, because this is part of the proof that you cited, if you could call it proof, is that the front of the building is the God Atlas holding up a keg instead of the world. How does that prove that this is a satanic cult?
Because it's all a fuck you to God. It's like the inversion. Do you swear on this channel? Yeah.
No, not really. So what about this? So the God Atlas, your proof is the God Atlas, and that there are 2 trailers behind the business that beer peddlers supposedly shouldn't have.
Well,
that's further proof of a satanic pedophile conspiracy.
Because they have to tell you who they are. So when they start doing weird stuff and they start handling your family members and putting them under mind control and they start meddling in your life, you can go and look, oh, there's this entire mural on the front of their building that says exactly who they are. I mean,
you also have this. It says, Pritchard then points her camera at an alleged child's hair bow on the ground across the street from the bar as further proof of her conspiracy. So what is a hair bow is proof of a satanic pedophile cult in a beer house?
Well, the thing is, I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm just telling my story. And yeah, when you
but do you understand? No, I get that. But do you understand that when you tell stories like this about a hardworking family-owned business, you do damage to them?
I don't see it that way. That's not my reality. That's not reality. These people are liars. Aren't you guys sick of liars? What do you do to get rid of the liars?
Those are serious. I'm just saying that these are very serious allegations to make about anybody. When you bring up the word pedophile, I mean, that's like the worst thing in the world that you could possibly accuse someone of. So I think you have to be this is my personal belief, and you can disagree, but I believe if you're going to call somebody pedophiles, you've got to have substantial and supportive real proof and evidence, or you risk damaging that person with false claims, right? Wouldn't you want to be absolutely sure? Like, have you witnessed pedophilia at that place? Have you witnessed human trafficking with your own eyes at that place? Because they
don't deny it. I mean,
they denied it to me when I talked to them today. They said they don't know anything about what you're talking about. It all came and like came out of thin air as far as they were concerned. Just out of nowhere, you started making these accusations and holding protest signs in front of their business, and that was very damaging to them.
Well, if somebody accused you of being a pedophile and you're not, wouldn't you say something? Wouldn't you come out and say something? I mean, there's a reason why they allow people to do what they're doing. I don't know. It gets weird when I try to, because I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. And I understand like your perspective, but I'm coming from a perspective of I'm actually I actually have done a lot to break down the satanic strongholds in this area and the child trafficking in this area. It does not work if people just pussyfoot around it. We got these like social etiquette. We can't tell each other the truth because we can't risk their business. I mean, burn it all down. Like, you're all pedophiles until none of you are pedophiles, as far as I'm concerned, because that's the only thing that gets the job done. You know, I'm sorry, but if you want to
scorched earth, and who cares if there's victims that you also burn that don't deserve it? Is that what you're saying?
It's the destruction of the pagan nation. I mean, this is end times shit. This is end times stuff. This is Revelation stuff. I mean, that's why all this shutdown is going down, is because it's a precursor to what's to come. Evil always precedes good, and then they reverse it. So if the whole lockdown is just a precursor and a reversal of what's to come, a liberation. So sorry, I get a little passionate.
And people
there.
are asking in the live chat for you to present some proof of these claims. And again, I get that you're saying you're not trying to prove it to anybody, but I just mean that these are very serious accusations to make about a business without, because you gotta, I don't know, me, I thought of the human side of it a little bit today, because I thought, there's these hardworking guys in this beer place, and they show up every day early in the morning, and they're making beer, and they're trying to make a living, and they're employing other local people in the community that are also trying to make a living. And then you come in like kind of like a bull in a china shop with the sign, and they're pedophiles, and that's,
But anybody,
are they all? That's kind of breaking down. Is everybody that works there a pedophile and a Satanist, or just the managers, the owners? It's because they employ a lot of people.
I mean, any person who can critically think, has empath, intuitive abilities, can go in there. I don't know about nowadays. I mean, this was a year ago, but anybody could go in. It's like the garb is all over the place. The symbolism is all over the place. I mean, they had a beer with a panda, a pizza, and all the pedophile, for the pedophile symbols. And when you ask them about who it's for, it's like, oh, it's for our friends. Oh, this pedophilic bicycling club. And then you go to the bicycling club, and it's like they advertise themselves as exactly who they are, because they need to signal to each other who they are. So you learn their language. I was also around them socially. So I was like spending time around these people, like in these social gatherings. So I started getting a little ballsy, and I started asking questions about the whole pedophilic aspect of the beer industry. And you know what one of them told me? He said it's a niche market. Well, in Austin, that we got a lot of insectilians. So like the reptilians I encountered are in the police, but the beer industry here, they're insectilians. They're like insects. They're bugs, bug people. And they just like love to call them, bug people, sunbug, my Instagram handle.
So wait, now there's pedophilic there's Satan worshiping pedophiles in the beer halls.
Well, they don't
in
worship
Austin, and now there's insect aliens too. I'm never going to Austin. It doesn't sound like a fun place. Why are there insect aliens?
Well, they don't worship Satan. They don't worship Satan. And like, the whole reason why Sarah Adams might say, oh, I'm not a Satanist, is because Satanism is an ideology of enslavement. And the things that she does, she's like the energy that beats down masculinity.
So wait, let's get back to the insectoid aliens. And how do you know that there's insectoid aliens in Austin, Texas? Did you see them? Do you know?
I can see them with my mind's eye, but you guys don't get all like weird on.
I'm asking the question.
I can see them with my mind's eye, but it's not all the time. It's not like I'm running around like looking for aliens. Like I'm I can be normal. I don't have to like always have it on. There's a big filter. So it's like if I need to see somebody for what they are, then I'm going to see them for what they are. I know these whiz bangs are everywhere, but it's not like I'm running around just being like, oh, that and that and that. I can see them with my mind's eye. So it's like if it's just like any other sense. If somebody flashed a flashlight in your eye, you'd be like, oh. If somebody put something that smells like shit under your nose, you'd be like, oh. So it's the same thing around. If I'm needing to see somebody for what they are and I'm around them, I'm like, ugh, like repulsed. And then I can see what they look like in my mind's eye.
So this is kind of like a superpower though, right?
I guess. It's like a sixth sense for aliens. Sounds funny. It's true.
Are you familiar with the satanic panic? When all of these sort of therapists and law enforcement, they were running around finding satanic pedophiles in all these different places like daycare centers and things like that. And then it all turned out to be false charges. Don't you think, because I think that you're making a lot of these claims, are you very quick to jump to people, there's pedophile rings everywhere like that? Because I don't know that that's very fair to the people that you're making the accusations about.
Well, everything I've done came from personal experience and then military direction. So, no.
I don't understand the military direction. So you're not in the military. You're saying you work for the military, but you don't mean the regular military. You mean some secret military.
It's a space military that they stay in this area. It's human, more advanced. And so I can operate down here, eyes and ears, and it can appear as if it's just me doing it. But then behind the scenes, they are surveilling from above. So they can track the vehicles, where they're driving, what are they picking up, what are they dropping off. So it's like a surveillance. And then, they kind of go from there.
So, I grew up Catholic, and of course there's all those, what once was a conspiracy turned to be factual about all the pedophiles in the Catholic Church and the cover-ups. Do you think that fueled a lot of people's current beliefs, and maybe that's why people are quick to jump to pedophiles and Satanists and stuff like that now? Because that turned out to be worse than anybody ever imagined in the Catholic Church.
Well, I mean, are people quick to jump to the whole pedophile Satanist thing, or is it just humanity's waking up to the fact that pedophile and Satanists rule the world, control the world, and they're all wrapped up into the system, like at the top of the system, and you're working for them? I mean, your money comes from them. Your seemingly like livelihood, your healthcare comes from them. Your friends come from there, and the social cults with the restaurants and the brewing industry. So I think it's just on a huge scale now. It's like people are just waking up to the reality of the world we live in. That's all. For me, when people don't like me, it's a huge red flag for me.
Why is that? Does that mean that anybody that doesn't like you is flawed or something?
And I don't mean just like on the internet, but I mean like in real life. Like I carry an energy signature. I carry like a certain frequency. Like we're more than just people. We're concepts, and we serve a function. So considering the function that I serve and the concept that I embody, when people don't like that, and I don't mean they don't trust me, because I get it. I get it when people don't trust me. Believe me, I'm glad that people don't just blindly trust, whoever and whatever saying whatever. But
Sure.
When somebody gets to know me and then straight up just doesn't like me, it's like, ooh, what's in there? It's very revealing. There's a whole cult of people that are just very anti-goodness, like anti-love, anti-mother.
This is you pregnant here.
Yep.
And somebody earlier asked what happened to the baby, because I don't think you were very clear in that explanation.
Well, I guess
it just sort of went away one day.
Yeah, my. I mean, I guess it's up to whatever people think. I say he was transported and he's on a ship to come to full term. About to be born. So considering how fast he was growing, he'd be born October 16th. That would be his due date. At the rate he was growing, he would be born mid-October. What about them? They have nothing to do with this.
So your pregnancy though was spontaneous and without sex. So it was like the Immaculate Conception, and then you were suddenly not pregnant, and you said that you believed that somebody was gestating the baby to full term, and who would that be then? If I just assumed that you meant it was aliens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I down here kind of living a seemingly average life like other people. Only God knows.
Yeah, and I agree with Sophia Ursula, who says hearing about a missing child is very concerning. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be it's miscarriages or pregnancies that don't go well are just a big tragedy. So it's very traumatic. Didn't you find that traumatic? And did you go to a doctor and say I think I was pregnant? I was pregnant. What happened to the baby or any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I went through the motions. It was literally the worst thing that I think could ever happen to anybody. And then, yeah, I was on my way to the doctor, but I actually got arrested for not wearing a mask on the bus in peaceful protest on the way. So that didn't happen. And I got the pregnancy test from the jail, in which, it was negative. Like I was, no longer pregnant. So I found out in jail after being arrested for peaceful protests for not wearing a mask on the bus on the way to the doctor.
Out of Mind is asking, Lauren, did you get a pregnancy confirmation at the beginning of your pregnancy?
I mean, how do you tell a pregnant woman she's not pregnant? I mean, when you're pregnant, you feel there's something in your belly, your boobs get huge, your nipples turn to silver dollars. I mean, these questions are very...
Happened to my wife.
The things people ask, like the things people do and say is so bizarre to me. Like,
I think they're just trying to establish for absolutely sure that you were pregnant, because it is a little suspicious you were pregnant and then suddenly no baby and it all just goes away, right? So people are sort of asking for confirmation.
People they also think like I owe you these explanations. I mean, but look at the mentality towards mothers. I mean, what the heck are people doing, like interrogating a woman for being pregnant? She's clearly pregnant. I mean, did you want to see the nipple? I mean, come on, you guys. It's insane treatment. It's absolutely insane treatment of a human being. And then
Chandler is asking about if maybe you live at home with your parents from your description of your living situation. No?
No, my folks are in New York.
So you just got a free house? I don't understand how you survive just paying for groceries and you don't pay rent, utilities.
Well, Texas put out a rent relief for people that couldn't pay rent, but that was up in July. And I mean, there's just a lot of us that like still can't pay it. So while a lot of people were out for COVID, I was out for going after satanic cults, but I got to fall into the whole COVID bracket when really the reason I was out of work was because the satanic cult got me fired from my job. They coerced a board of 18,000 lawyers. They coerced my boss into firing me because my boss was my friend and he stood up for me.
What did you used to do for a living? What did you used to do for a living?
Hairdresser, high-end hairdresser. So
high end? What does that mean?
High end. Yeah, I used to make a lot of money. But I walked away from it all. It wasn't worth it. I will not live in a world where because they wanted me to, because they test you. They want you to shut up. They want to see if they can get you to shut up. And then 1, 2, 3 strikes, she's out. Get to the board of the bar association, and 18,000 of them voted, yeah, if they don't fire her, then we're going to ruin his business, because most of them would have been clients. And, so I just, kind of peacefully was like, well, I saw that coming, because you don't get to destroy the system and operate in it at the same time. So I was like, okay, well,
yeah, I
guess
just want to stop
this is just nature running course.
I don't understand. So there's a board of 18,000 lawyers that decided to vote on you getting fired, or they would ruin your boss's business.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
18,000. That's a lot of lawyers.
Yeah, it was his words. I mean, because, we had a good relationship and he was really trying to stick up for me for a long time. And then he's like, this is getting too crazy. His mother was a lawyer too. I mean, the Travis County Bar Association, 18,000 of them. I mean, a lot of lawyers are Satanists, those who call mischief law in the Bible.
Chandler's here, and he's a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, he's really a lawyer.
And I can't tell you.
Lawyer.
And everyone's trying to get us locked up. Like, everyone's trying to get Jesus's people locked up. Like, it's nothing new. Get her into a mental hospital, lock her up for this, get her for that. Isn't that illegal? Isn't that slander? Like those who call mischief law. But the Lord also says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And that is true.
And I think this is a fair point. Girl, they took your baby. How are you going to say nothing is wrong in your life?
Well, because God is in control.
And people are still pushing the mental illness thing. They're asking, are you on disability for mental illness or ever been diagnosed with something?
Well, why do people... But it's like, but why do people ask these questions, right? Because Their reality is cracked, and because they're having a hard time with a new perceived reality, they want to call me crazy, or they want to suspect that I'm crazy. But you have to understand, like, I think you people are crazy because you're so mean. Like, you think
I
so.
don't think these people are being mean. I think they're asking, fair
Yeah,
questions.
but like, well, from my perspective, what I hear is like, you're trying to get me like locked up for something. Like, there's something wrong with me. Like, why do you perceive that there's something wrong with me? I perceive as something wrong with you if you continue down that road of being that closed-minded.
Yeah, but don't you believe that people who make extraordinary claims sometimes warrant the attention of people who have like serious questions or doubts about their extraordinary claims?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
get me wrong.
I think it's fair. I think that the audience is
I'm still going to respond.
doubting a lot of the claims
Well,
that you make because
I'm
there's a
still
lack of evidence.
I'm still going to teach them a lesson, though. I mean, this is like we're all walking each other home. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just like get beat up by people's questions.
Oh
like,
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
I don't
teach y'all
expect
a
you.
lesson.
I admire your passion for what you believe in. I admire
You
your
know,
passion for what you believe in.
I'm not doing it from a place of like hate or disgust. It's like from a place of love. Like, let me teach you something about life. I mean, do people really think that this is that crazy? I mean, you live in a world where they eat, rape, and traffic children, but a woman having a baby parthenogenesis, and then like you've heard this story before, guys. Like, you've heard this story before. Is it really
Yeah,
that?
but I think we've heard it when it was Jesus, so people are like, really, immaculate conception? But I guess in your case, you didn't bring the baby to full term, and you don't know where the baby went, so people have a lot of questions about that, right? Amy Collins is here and says, I don't condemn. I've been this far off the beaten path before. I recognize this zone and I feel bad for her. So,
Sounds like you never got back on the path.
and Madam Two Swords says, most of these people have never read an actual Bible. What the hell kind of God would let that happen to anyone? I'm sure would pray to or believe in a God like that. I mean, I guess that's fair.
Well, this is not our world, you have to understand. So if the baby was transported to a ship, this is not our world. Like, this is just my perspective. Like, I'm not here to bring a kid in this world and raise it in this world. Like, we're creating a new one. We're destroying this one and creating a new one. So it actually kind of makes sense from my perspective. And you've heard these stories before. So it's
I've never heard that exact story. I've heard about people who believe that they were abducted by aliens and then somehow like artificially inseminated, and then the aliens come back and take the baby at some point. And then sometimes in those stories they come back and take the mother back to hold the baby for some reason on a ship. And I've heard those stories, but yours is a little unique in that you're not saying it was aliens. You're saying that you just spontaneously got pregnant and then the baby was transported somewhere, but you don't really know where or.
Well, there's actually, they use James Casbolt in these breeder programs. So there are a lot of women that have similar stories, but the women have memories of having sex. I never said he was the father, by the way. I don't know why people say that.
Yeah, people assume that he was the father. Didn't you say he was your twin flame, though? Or is that a fair statement? Because people have said that. People have said that you said that James Casbolt is your twin flame. So maybe people assume that he was the father of the baby.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Did you meet him in person, James? And hang out with him? No? But you were very,
they won't let us. They won't let us speak. They won't let us see each other. It's coercion. So we have to speak telepathically. We have to like militaristically like break down this whole structure because they like the powers that are here now like won't allow it.
You never know how these things are going to go.
Yeah. But some go this way, some go that way.
I want to thank you.
Some people have like a full-blown psychotic break, and then some people like start to feel a lot better about everything.
Well, I definitely want to take the time to recognize and thank you for coming here, knowing that we have kind of a critical crowd. And I think that was good that instead of staying on both sides of our aisles and you only talk to these people that you agree with, and I only talk to the people that I agree with, that we get together and learn more about what each of us believes and see if we could find some perspective about each other's beliefs. And that's, I heard a lot about you and I said, let's do it right on air instead of talking off air, right? Yeah. So I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to do this. I don't want to keep you any longer. We're actually overtime now, but that's quite all right. And I'm glad that we got to have tonight. And I hope that maybe you'll come back again and give us some perspectives into conspiracy land, and that we remain maybe not friends, but friendly, and not. Yeah, I don't need any more people to have beefs with, because I know. Yeah, you got this beef with Sarah Adams and some other people, right?
Well, I don't have any beef with her. She's not my enemy. She's the trash receptacle. It's like people either resonate with me or they resonate with her. Like you're going one way or the other. Maybe not right now, but like the way people are going. Sure, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be the one having a psychotic break when, stuff starts hitting the fan. Like these other people will, but maybe they won't, because they might turn all robotic and go the, Sarah Adams route.
So you still believe that James Caswald is some big deal and telling the truth about most of his stuff, right?
Yeah,
I gotta look into more of his claims, and maybe I'll do a show on him.
Yeah, I think he is the most significant person around, honestly. Like, it's somebody that you don't want to underestimate.
I don't mind congratulating you, saying thank you, Lauren. Even though I think you are not right, I do think that you are brave. So see, we can get some, at least, respect going here. So I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you can come back. Maybe we'll have another night where we talk about a specific subject for a while, like alien hybrids taking over Earth, because I like that one. I don't know that I believe it, but I like those stories.
Well, I'm honored, and thank you so much. I really like the way that you conduct your show here.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope that we
really
can. I hope that you'll come back. Thanks very much for doing this, and don't be a stranger. Thank you, Lauren.
Same to you. Have a good night.